Hello, everyone. Welcome to Development Paths. I'm Aaron Loomis, coming to you from the Ventura Cigar Company studio, and with me today is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
What's going on?
All right, so tonight we are talking about the Davidoff Luke Bryan. Cigars are Robusto Extra, 5-inch by 54 ring gauge, comes out of the Davidoff factory in the Dominican Republic. Wrappers Ecuadorian, Connecticut. Binder and filler are both from the Dominican Republic. Price point is $32, and the cigar was released in November of 2018. So with all that out of the way, Jiunn, what was your smoking experience like?
Mine was really great. Starting from the beginning, the first third, just it was. I could tell like immediately it was one of those going to be like balanced, refined kind of cigars. So I got like bread, cream, like white red peppers, sort of a spice, cedar, hay, and I got some like mushroom, like mustiness. Retrohaling typically, as expected from retrohaling, I got more spice out of it. I even got this like really nice bright cherry note that I enjoyed a lot. Very clean finish, bread, soft cedar, strength of body medium. Moving on to the second third, it just I felt like it kind of builds off that first third. That cherry note, um, as well as the introduction of the minerals starts to come through. Soak in that like mustiness, the bread, cream, white red pepper spice, cedar hay. So it was really good. And then within the last third, I thought the profile got creamier. It focused on more of that like bread, like milk, like a milky creaminess. Um, so with that, I also had like a really nice backdrop of like minerals and soft white pepper to it. Um, it's still very clean finish. That's one of the things I really enjoyed is how clean the finish was on the cigar. So, it's not common at all. It's very uncommon for me to have such a clean finish, and especially non-Cuban tobacco. And I felt like this one delivered it. But interestingly enough, within the last third, it was kind of reaching that medium full strength, which I typically don't associate with like a clean finish because a lot of stuff that's clean finish is Cuban tobacco that I just talked about. In terms of construction, I thought the burn was very good. There was a relight that I do the last third, but other than that, I mean, it was tight, dirty gray ashes, pretty even burn, cool burn. In terms of drop, perfect. What about you?
Yeah, for me, it started out with a mix of cedar and hay, along with a dull black pepper, and then a little further in, some mustiness joins the profile, and the black pepper became really faint. 3/4 of an inch in, a little bit of creaminess joins in with that mustiness, while the cedar and hay are up front. Retrohale is a little bit of black pepper forward, with some hay and mustiness behind it. About an inch and a quarter, I was starting getting like these random notes of butter, kind of every few draws or so. So it was kind of an interesting experience. Strength was mild, medium, and then getting the second third. Cedar gained a toasted component to it, and it was up front while the hay and the mustiness were behind it. Cream drops out of the profile. 3/4 of an inch in, hay increases to become even with the toasted cedar. Mustiness was right behind that. Retrohale, still a little bit of pepper bite up front with the musty hay following it. And as the second third's wrapping up, toasted cedar still has the lead, and the hay and mustiness are in the background. Strength bumps up to slightly below medium. And then in the final third, cedar transitions to more of a generic light wood, but kind of keeps that toasted component. Hay and mustiness remain behind that. Half-inch in, retrohales drop the pepper and carries a fuller version of that toasted wood, hay, and mustiness. And then about 3/4 of an inch in, a bread note pairs up with the wood, and the toast seems to span both of them, while the mustiness is right behind that. And that's kind of how the cigar finishes out. Strength is still at that slightly below medium mark. In regards to construction, the burn was a bit wavy throughout. The cigar went out once in each of the first 2/3. Ash held on in 3/4 inch increments. And then in regards to the draw, though, it was perfect. It was just the reminiscence that I prefer. So overall, what were your thoughts on this cigar?
Overall, I thought it was very good. Very balanced. Also very transitional as well. Kind of going from as I kind of go through the cigar, giving me minerals, amplified creaminess, that cherry, stone fruit quality to it. I really liked it. It sucks that you got to pay $32 MSRP for what is it? This is a Robusto, right?
Yeah.
Uh, that's steep. Can't even inch out a Toro for this. But even with such a high price point, I think it's very well worth treating yourself and experiencing.
Yeah, for me, I thought the burn was a bit of a letdown on the cigar, and I don't know if it going out in the first 2/3 and me having to relight, if that kind of was you know a bit of a factor in the regards to the flavors. I thought the first third was pretty good, and then I thought it was average kind of throughout the rest of the way. So I don't know if that played into or not. I would kind of lean towards the possibility that it did. Um, this is a cigar that's made for a country singer. He owns a shop. It's a a limited release just for that shop. So I'm assuming it is designed for kind of his customer base or his fans and things like that. So um, I'm not sure if I can really give you a good idea of this cigar because of the experience I had, but I think maybe what your experience would be a little bit more fitting for what the cigar can actually provide. But in my notes, I wrote, price is kind of what you talked about. It's a little bit high for a Robusto. But for me, I kind of felt this was pretty typical white label, that Davidoff type cigar. But if I had access to one, I might try again to see if I get a better burn and a better flavor experience. But other than that, if you're a fan of the guy, if you're a fan of the brand, give it a shot, see what you think. If you're kind of an infrequent cigar smoker, maybe you smoke one a month. Maybe you buy a box of these or something like that, and it fits in for what you like. So, getting to the scores, you give it an 8.13. I give it a 5.80. How do you think that match up with your experience?
Match well. I mean, overall, it's just a very good cigar. I don't come across really good cigars like this throughout the year. So,
yeah, I think it's like kind of top 5 for you now from 2018 releases. So it's a pretty good cigar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for me, it was just it was slightly above average in flavor profile. Not a good burn. Kind of knocked things down from there. So, yeah, that kind of high 5s is kind of where it's at. I mean, I wanted to enjoy it more. It's not the experience I had. Any other final thoughts from you on this one?
I don't know who this shop is. I don't know who this country singer is. I just know this is Davidoff.
Yeah.
But so I had absolutely zero preconceived notions going into this. Not that knowing those things would alter your perception of it. But I kind of feel like Davidoff within the last couple of years, they try to push the envelope towards more spice, more strength, more body. So I feel like smoking something like this, where it's so refined and balanced, but still very full flavored, is such a nice switch up to that Davidoff newer profile that I've been kind of feel like I've been tasting the last couple of years.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I enjoyed it so much, because this isn't like your old school traditional Davidoff, right? Where a lot of people feel like it's flavorless, right? And just pretty burn. This is absolutely not the Yamasas and the Nicaraguas and the chef's editions of current day Davidoff.
Right.
This is kind of like in that middle range. And I think that's very unique. Granted, I don't know a great depth of what Davidoff does. Like, I probably haven't smoked through probably 50% of the portfolio, right?
Yeah.
But I do know that this is a really good cigar.
Yep. Exactly. All right. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Follow us on all the social media channels, and you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you on the next one.